Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Great Malabite, action.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Victoria Tundu. MK Abiola.
Good morning.
Yes, let's start the review straight away with Nigeria's newspaper of record this day. The lead story, after 44 years of birthing old NNPC, Buhari unveils new NNPC Limited. Silver, historical unveiling gave me goosebumps. Kyari, no more monthly FAC remittances. NNPC with net assets of $60 billion. New company moves to grow retail outlets from 547 to 1,500 in 6 months. Now, yes, putting it in historical context, President Muhammadu Buhari yesterday unveiled the new NNPC. Yes, some have said, I hope this is not just new wine in old bottle, but a lot to gain going by the Petroleum Industry Act, which has given rise to this transition. Some will call it transmutation, but in content, character, and profit, that is where the difference will be made. Now, other newspapers, of course, the Guardian newspaper is reporting this story also. High, low expectations as NNPC unveils, as Buhari unveils new NNPC, we will end energy poverty losses, says Kyari. Why NNPC may remain loss-making company despite transitioning experts, redundant staff, political will, harsh environment clouds Buhari stakeholders' expectations. Transitioning a man name change, says Famotimi. Former LCCI boss insists a new Aramco may emerge. Adesanya. Subsidy liabilities, frontier exploration may impact cash flow. OPS, organized private sector, backs hike in oil marketers as oil marketers comply with NNPC directive, raise petrol price to 179 naira per liter. Now, other stories. The Punch newspaper, Osun Poll Tribunal. Oyetola pencils 50 lawyers, APC, Adeleke trade words. Oyetola's legal team to consist of 50 lawyers or more. Senior advocate of Nigeria. Don't tamper with election materials to favor APC, Adeleke warns INEC. You are only afraid of your shadow. APC berates governor-elect Adeleke. Yes, it is the right of those who participate in the electoral process. You lose, the tribunal is there for you to seek redress if you think there is something fishy. So the APC seem to be going that route in the Osun poll, which has been won by Ademola Adeleke. Yes, Kunle Adegoke, one of the legal counsels to Oyetola, is saying they are amassing 50 lawyers or more. Well, the last time I checked, victory at the court or the tribunal does not depend on the number of lawyers that appear for a client. So, the normal process of the tribunal will see what the APC and Oyetola will prove at the tribunal to change the verdict, which many believe is the people's given mandate in this case. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, despite 6 months old strike, despite Buhari's charge to Adamu, ASU vows not to back down, accuses Ngige of double standard, denies breakaway faction. In fact, the Punch newspaper reporting that story titles it, Stubborn ASU says federal government must meet all demands. Yes, stubborn ASU, obstinate government, and we're talking of a strike that has lasted for almost 6 months and counting. Now, also on the front page of the Daily Independent newspaper, alleged money laundering. EFCC asked me to indict Jonathan at Doke Witness Chair Court. Yes, that case is still ongoing. Now, the Daily Trust newspaper, the lead story, federal government ASU disagree as Buhari directs end to strike. In 2 weeks, we won't sit with Labour Minister Union. NLC continues mobilization protests. For protests, we won't accept disparity in varsity workers' salary. SANU, that's the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, already bracing for another fight even before any agreement is reached. Now, the Daily Trust, no, the New Telegraph newspaper, Buhari orders minister, address ASU order strikes within 2 weeks. Union blames Ngige for prolonged strike as Nance back NLC set to join protest. But the Nation newspaper reporting this story also, ASU, Buhari orders Ngige to hands off negotiation. Education minister gets 14 days to resolve crisis. 1 million naira monthly pay likely for professor. ASU, government doesn't need 2 weeks to end strikes. SANU warns against disparity in salaries. Yes, yesterday, of course, the Nation newspaper also reported a 100% pay rise likely for striking varsity lecturers. We should see a professor going home with 1 million naira. I'm taking note of that, and I'm sure a lot of villagers who have professors as relatives will also be taking note of that likely increase. But yes, after 6 months, the president now giving the Minister of Education 2 weeks to resolve the matter, where we've been accusing the Minister of Education as missing in action. Now, the president has given him the responsibility. Is the Minister of Labor, Chris Ngige, the problem in this matter? One would have thought that in 6 months, the president has the full grasp of what the problems are, and perhaps give a ruling or an instruction on implementation of some of these agreements they've been discussing over time. But again, we know the style of President Muhammadu Buhari, something you can do in 2 days, as ASU are saying, the president wants it to be done in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, will there be a solution? Will there be a resolution of this problem between ASU and the government? If the professors get their 1 million naira, will they just go back to work and forget about the other issues they have raised over time? We'll see how it pans out. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, still the same lead story. Buhari gives Adamu 2 weeks to resolve varsity union strike. Below the photograph, government security agencies have failed to secure Nigeria. That's Nigerians, Masari. That's the governor of Katsina State, Masari. But only on Salah Day celebration, this same governor visited the president and was praising that security has improved, even when just before Salah, the president convoy was attacked in that state. These governors, some of them, they just go back and forth without even having a grasp of the situation. Of course, there's serious insecurity in Katsina State. Everybody knows that, except perhaps the governor who went on that praise-singing episode with the president on Salah Day. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, yes, we just overlooked the lead story, but the story below the photograph, Adeboye denies endorsing Tinubu, stands by Khan's directive. Youth mobilize against Muslim ticket. Yes. The General Overseer, yes, of the Redeemed Christian Church had to come out because there was this report going around that he has endorsed somebody. But again, that clarification, very necessary. He has endorsed nobody. And he's standing with the position taken with by the Christian Association of Nigeria. Now, the Business Day newspaper, manufacturers tap local input as FX crisis deepens. Yes, as the lingering scarcity of foreign exchange shortage is hampering their ability to import raw materials, manufacturers in Nigeria are increasingly shifting towards local substitute. Isn't that a reasonable thing to do in the first place? Well, sometimes condition would make you do what you have to do. And perhaps that's what manufacturers are doing. If you have local substitute for your raw materials, you exploit that. And by the way, if you go to the supermarkets, wherever you see a locally produced good, the alternative is usually far cheaper than the imported item. So we should patronize more.
Made in Nigeria.
Made in Nigerian goods. It will be good for all of us. The industries will be happy. They'll make money. And of course, we'll be keeping a lot of Nigerians in their job in this company. Now, the foreign newspapers, quickly. The Daily Telegraph, Britain ignites as temperature break 40 degrees Celsius barrier for the first time. The Guardian newspaper also reporting that story. A wake-up call, The Guardian. UK hits highest ever temperature. Now, the Financial Times is reporting ECB and BOE follow lead with signal of more hawkish rate rises. Inflation anxiety mounts. Eurozone bank weighs half-point move. Bailey toughen stand. Yes, the European Central Bank, yes, you say like CBN, like European Central Bank, like the Bank of England, they're all exploring they are exploring half-point interest rate increases as they seek to curb inflation and keep pace with the Federal Reserve in the US, which has moved more aggressively to raise borrowing costs. Of course, the situation around the world, CBN not alone, and every central bank in the country, in the world, is doing something to deal with the inflationary trend and the economic situation in the world. Now, Ruben, Rufai, and beautiful Tundu.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, first, I was going through the pages of this day, and I saw at page 23 a birthday tribute by Kaode Ambisi Fayemi, Governor of Ekiti State, to Professor Ladipo Adamolekun. Professor Adamolekun is one of the leading authorities on public administration in Nigeria, former dean of the Faculty of Administration at the Obafemi Awolowo University, where he spent a long time, worked in international organizations, and more importantly, the father of our colleague, Okpeyemi Adamolekun, of Enough is Enough, one of our major contributors on the platform of This Day Live. But, he's the daughter of a very distinguished academic and scholar who turns 80 today. And I know Professor Adamolekun, of course, through his scholarship, and I've also encountered him. And we would like to use this opportunity to wish Professor Ladipo Adamolekun, winner of the Nigerian National Order of Merit, a very happy 80th birthday and much longer life of service to humanity and the intellectual community and the generations of scholars that he has inspired. Now, going beyond that, as to the issues, we've talked about...
Are there implications, Ruben? We should tell Remy that...
No, when Yemi comes back, of course,
there are some
we still need to state that there are implications. There are serious implications.
Sunday, that's not fair.
No, we can arrange.
I'll have a word.
Ruben,
understand that there is a house rule about implications.
Ruben, when it comes to implications, it can never be enough.
Well,
am I talking to somebody?
You say that to Yemi when you see her. But quickly, there was an issue involving INEC, and I wanted to have your take. INEC, well, two things really. David Adeleke, popularly known as Davido, the musician, he's saying that why is INEC wasting time to give his uncle the certificate of return? But INEC says there's no law that says you have to deliver the certificate of return within 48 hours. Okay? Well, all of this is probably in the context of the anxiety about, the post-election outcomes in Osun State. But we've been here in the past when certificates of return were given almost immediately. So are we going to ask for a standard by INEC in terms of the timing of when INEC gives the certificate? The second issue relating to INEC, which I would like you maybe to comment upon, is this indication by Mikey Guinea, the resident electoral commissioner in Akwa Ibom State, saying that, look, the law, section 115 of the Electoral Act, does not allow political office seekers to engage in two elections, to fill two different nomination forms. And that the prescription under the law is the possibility of a 2-year imprisonment. And he specifically mentioned Godswill Akpabio, senator, with regard to Akwa Ibom Northwest, and the presidential election, the presidential primary of the APC, and also Senate President Lawan, with regard to Yobe North. Do you think that anybody is going to test this and go further?
Well, first, on the certificate of returns, I think INEC, you don't need to tell them to have standards. As an organization, they should have their own standard. Yes, where there's no rule, there's no transgression. So you cannot give one person a day after the election, you rush and present certificate of return. Then for another winner, you take your time to do it. I think these things should be standardized at the level of INEC, since there's no law stating how long it will take before you present that. Because INEC is not going to wait for the outcome of the tribunal to present the certificate. So I think it should be done speedily, because the man's joy, you also should not dampen the joy of Adeleke, the Adeleke family. They've been on this for the past how many years? They were almost there 4 years ago. And now they won, the Ademola won. So give him his certificate. Anything happens at the tribunal, that is for the tribunal, and we'll take it from there. But as for the law, I think we should learn to also enforce our laws in this country. If there's a provision in the Electoral Act 2022, and persons are breaching these laws just because they belong to the ruling party, I think somebody should call them to order, and perhaps this should be tested in the law courts, because you don't make laws just for fun. We have provisions in the law, and I think we should just respect the laws.
Okay, thank you very much, Emmanuel Efeni. We'll see you again tomorrow.